Washington this past week, the Trump administration quietly dropped a 33-page document that could reshape the global balance of power. It's called the 2025 National Security Strategy, or NSS. On paper, it is America's official roadmap to deal with the rest of the world. In practice, it tells us who Washington really cares about and who just got unfriended. So what does this new security strategy mean for India, for the Indo-Pacific, and for China? Has America just handed over the entire Indo-Pacific to China? And why does India now sound more like a commercial partner than a strategic pivot to Asia? We break it down. Under US law, every president is supposed to publish a national security strategy. It's a big-picture document that sets out America's threats, its priorities, and its partnerships. President Donald Trump's 2025 NSS was released on the 4th of December. It is 33 pages long, and it's very different in tone and tenor from Joe Biden's 2022 strategy or even Trump's own 2017 NSS paper. The language is blunt, even combative. It puts America first at the center. It criticizes mass immigration. It attacks European allies for the threat of civilizational erasure in 20 years. It formally announces a Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. It is basically saying that the Western Hemisphere is America's primary sphere of dominance. Compared to past strategies which focused heavily on global leadership and liberal values, spreading democracy, this year's NSS is transactional, it's nationalistic, and it is centered around the Western Hemisphere. Let's start with the India question. How many times is India mentioned in the new NSS? According to scholars who've gone line by line through the text, India's name appears 4 times in the document. Well, that is not nothing, but it's not a lot. Given the last 25 years of strategic talk about India and the US being natural allies, India being a linchpin in managing China, this is not a ringing endorsement. But the most important reference about India says that the United States will continue to improve commercial relations with India to encourage New Delhi to contribute to Indo-Pacific security. And that includes through the continued quadrilateral cooperation with Australia, Japan, and the United States, the Quad. In other words, India is framed less as a frontline strategic ally in the Indo-Pacific and more as a commercial partner, and a partner who's expected to share more of the burden and whose security role America wants to encourage. They will continue to be partners, no doubt, but Washington will share less of the security load in the Indo-Pacific. Now you compare that with the older strategic logic, certainly since the early 2000s, for the last 25 years, across the Bush, Obama, even Biden presidencies, the idea was that India is essential to balancing China's rise in Asia. That logic made India central to concepts like free and open Indo-Pacific, the Indo-US nuclear deal, and of course, the expanded Quad. The 2025 NSS does not scrap that partnership, but it subtly downgrades it from strategic partner to important commercial partner. The stress is on economic ties and the sharing of security here in the Indo-Pacific. Now to the big question. What does the NSS say about China and the Indo-Pacific? Has America checked out of this region? The 2025 NSS does not describe China as America's #1 strategic challenge. Previous administrations had said that in word and in deed. Instead, the new NSS talks mostly about China in economic terms. The document says that President Trump has reversed 3 decades of mistaken assumptions about China. And now the priority for the Trump administration is to rebalance America's economic relationship with China, focus trade on non-sensitive and non-critical sectors, aimed for a mutually advantageous economic relationship with Beijing. Perhaps Trump doesn't want to rock the boat before his announced visit to Beijing later in April. Militarily, the NSS sets an ambition of building a force that can deny aggression anywhere in the First Island chain. Now, the First Island chain are a series of islands that includes Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines. It is basically meant to be deterrence against any armed attack by China on Taiwan. But the latest NSS stops short of a formal guarantee or a pledge to fight China if it were to attack Taiwan. America's strategic ambiguity around Taiwan became a little more ambiguous with this latest document. But here's the twist. The top priority region for America and for the Trump administration is now explicitly the Western Hemisphere, not Asia, not the Indo-Pacific. China is downgraded from an existential rival to an economic competitor. The NSS pushes allies like Japan, Korea, Australia, and even India to spend more and to do more to secure the Indo-Pacific rather than assuming that America will permanently underwrite the Indo-Pacific. And that has down-the-line consequences for every country, the countries in the region, and also for a country like India.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.